Hello and welcome to my Sunday Frums. Today I just made a little cinnamon drink, um, a burrito, and I want to thank 160 of you guys for subscribing because today is my milestone cake celebration. And here is the cake. It's so delicious and lovely. It's a cookie cake on the top and then the cake on the bottom, which is triple chocolate and made with chocolate in it. And it's filled with chocolate mousse. So this is the special cake. I was so excited to bake, and I have baked it just for our special occasion of hitting the milestone. So first and foremost, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate you guys so much, and I think about you guys all the time. And obviously, um, lately, I think in the news, I've been hearing reports about Ruby Rose going to authorities and going forward about her alleged incident with Katy Perry. And it inspired me a lot, it motivated me a lot, and it kind of, and the consternation of what was divulged in a thread that was posted about Katy Perry shading Justin Bieber. um, I believe that it echoed in her heart the, mm, I think the hatefulness within Katy Perry that she found herself personally. And so therefore, I do believe Ruby Rose is um, coming out with accurate information regarding her experience and the issues in case of Katy Perry, whereas she was alleged to have conducted sexual misconduct with Ruby Rose in a very disgusting manner at a nightclub, in which Ruby Rose became physically ill and ended up leaving, and in not retaliation but actual um, bribery, Katy Perry fixed her visa for her to fly in from Australia. Miss Ruby Rose is a star from Orange is the New Black. So obviously, that kind of put a boot in my rear to kind of be here today and give a kind of little speech about something that happened to me. And I didn't want to come here and talk about it, and I didn't want it to happen. But I feel like I need to make this like the video, unfortunately. So today I'm gonna be having a giant burrito filled with Cincinnati chili. Yes, spaghetti chili. This is chicken chili, homemade leftovers from when I made chicken chili, and that was a mukbang in and of itself. And you can see that, and you can see the behind the scenes where I give you the recipe. I didn't. It was just behind the scenes. It wasn't like full, like start to finish. It was just the recipe. Um, but it's just filled with cheese, hot sauce, and the chili, as you will see. I'll cut it open. Now this has 3 tortillas, and it wasn't easy to it wasn't easy to make. So you can see the chili in here and spaghetti. You see that steam? Oh yeah, baby. And so I was quite excited for the celebration. And I was getting ready on TikTok, and I was talking to one of my friends, and I was thinking about this video because this video touches on these subjects, and I feel like, where else can I bring awareness that, this stuff actually affects people's lives to the point where, in the situation where Ruby Rose, she came out later on. Obviously, Ruby Rose is from the gay community, and she was at a gay nightclub, and she was in Australia. So this was a lot to say about who Katy Perry is. Not to say that she doesn't act in strange ways at home, behind closed doors. You know, not to say that she doesn't act like this on set with people who work around her or work with her. And there's not to say that there's not protocol, there's precautions taken, and obviously there's a little bit of backlash within the industry because people do believe the Ruby Rose-esque type allegations to be true, and they have been held true. So much that this is true to life, her realities of how she is treated, not portrayed by mainstream America, though. And that's what is very dangerous about situations that, like in my case, where you take an influencer that is widely known, yet not famous, yet not considered discovered, not considered mainstream American pop culture. For whatever reason, sometimes I find myself at random events, given that my status, I don't end up at like random events like your neighbor's picnic in the backyard. Like I don't end up at random events, but I also don't end up, in events that aren't kind of viral or talked about or even highlighted in media. Because more and more social media is being covered, and the coverage is so widespread that you'll even see, this creator, host, influencer shoplifted here, and you'll see them once in a while. There's like crime that spills out into the streets because influencer wants so bad. Given the type of atmosphere where you can be anybody you want, you can portray anything you want, and some people are happy. They're like, okay, well, I'm a criminal, and this is me. Love me, pay me, bitches. But then there are other types who are like, oh no, I'm this type of person. I'm clean cut. I live this type of life, and this is my lifestyle that I can afford because I am a dedicated person. I'm a hard worker. Girl or boy, some people even have fake spouses. Some use heavy filter, lie about age, right? That's like child predation. But also in the industry, professional industry, it's normal because somebody's going to call you. That's not a child. But it's more and more normalized in mainstream America because they're more and more looked at as industry folk, which they are clearly not. And that is factual. It's misinformation that's being spread. They are not considered industry people. By no means would you see them at places that I go to, or could be invited to. So I think that's misinformation automatically that needs to be dispelled, because why are you giving them that credit when obviously it's not true? And a lot of people push for that. They want to control and have power and have the narrative that people of a certain esteem, they build their brand on, because they are in fact that person. Whereas some people are fake it till you make it. Look at Katy Perry. you know. There's several incidents that happened early on in her career, you know, on and off set. So I have heard of an allegation recently that was obviously laughed at several times and in public and by media, scoffed at, like, ha ha ha. That could never. But when Ruby Rose said it, you know what I mean? It hit front pages. Same week, mind you. You know, and you get people who are out to get you. Look at Clavickler. People plan to haze him using medication. Like, he's just gonna look like he's self-medicating. We can get away with spiking his drugs. We can get away with spiking these medications and pharmaceuticals and giving them to him, you know? But I mean, Matthew Perry's killer got 15 years. She got a slap on the wrist, and we're still in court for the rest. So it's not like there is a heavy penalty for all these acts, you know? So, I mean, what, you know, what if they do become powerful, you know, from being who they are, you know? But at the same point in time, you can also become victim. And that's why I want to tell my story, because it does bring to light that no matter who you are, you're not completely protected, not completely untouchable, or how do you say it? You're not, you don't have these invincible abilities, you know, to just, you know, be able to just brush harm off of you or stay clear of harm's way or not get harmed at all. We're all very much human beings. Oh, and by the way, please just say no to drugs. Don't you remember that from Dare, guys? Let's be real. But this does remind me of something that happened to me. I was like coming out of an airport because I had a doja in like South America, and I know like people know me for this crazy battle, but how I got there is like a story in and of itself. Forget it, like who I fight with, where it's located, like all this stuff. I was in Miami and came off a flight, got hungry. Obviously, you know me where I'm headed to. And when I got there, you know, mind you, I was with one of the Doja members. So, like the other one, I don't know. I don't remember at the time. I think he was too young to be married. But, right, like back then, everybody was always telling me, "You're too young. How are you married?" And so I was with the other one, and so I'm the only girl. So like I was looking around and these men were saying weird stuff, right? And I didn't even think anything of it. Like I felt like this kind of blindsided me. And I was like, you know, let me talk to them. And I don't know. I didn't think anything of it. But luckily nothing happened to me, no harm came to me. But the boy I'm with, they they were telling him something weird about me, and then insulting him, like real degrading. So I was like, this is crazy. Like, they talk like they know us, like, not parasocial, but yet kind of in the realm. And I was like, well, how'd they know where I would be? And then I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because when I went through the airport. When I went through the airport, they were like, oh, well, where's the next stop to get food? If you had a flight, you were stuck for hours without food or something. Which obviously isn't the case, but like, eating when you get somewhere is like a thing. Don't you guys do that? Like, you drive somewhere and you eat even though you drove on the way, even though you ate sandwiches on the way. Like, you eat a sandwich before you leave, and then you end up at a cookout or something. Like, I don't know. To me, that's normal. So the other day, I was creeping in people's live streams like this whole time for years, and I would hear people talking about it. And so my legal team tried to tackle it. So we couldn't do anything. And I was like, why can't we do anything? And I'm very disappointed at this point. Even still, I feel bad about it. Because sometimes when I creep in there, I read the comments and they're all like, kick his ass, or who does she think she is, or she should have been slapped. You should get a girl to go and beat her up, or you should have got a girl to punch her in the face, or you could still you could still get a girl to beat her up, or you should get a girl and have her punched in the face by that girl. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, how many times have I walked into a chat room and it's like they were talking about me, and I had to delete all the comments because they were probably, threatening me. So, you know, the more I get involved in my own situation, the more I see results. And that's why I'm coming forward and talking about it. So, like I said, this is a habit. Like, if I hear somebody talking about an incident, then I'll ask questions and I'll decide for myself. I'll judge them for myself. I am an adult. I can judge them for myself. And, that doesn't mean stay away from that. I think very much, stop talking about me. I'm not content. Black women are not content. Period. You know. And so the other day, like I said, some men were talking about me and they were laughing. And I was like, why are they laughing? Like, that's such a strange reaction. In hindsight, I see like they wanted something to happen to me. And the thought of it gave them, so much joy that they just had to let it out through laughter. Joyous laughter, that's what you call it. And then they're like, hey, you, I see you in here. What are you doing? What are you doing about this situation that you found yourself in? And I'm thinking, now or when? Like, what are you on? And then they were like, this dude needs this and that, right? Like, inhumane treatment. And inhumane treatment, I mean. And, like, they were like, um, like, where are you at in all this? Like, because obviously I'd rip him from to shreds. I rip him from limb to limb. You know, this is what these guys are saying to me. And they're like, clearly, we don't even need to be asking that side because we're still going to be doing what we do. And I'm thinking, was that the original group? Like, it's like some type of cyber gang or what? You know what that reminds me of? That cookie incident. It's so weird. Like, I just feel like some of this stuff somehow connects to conspire against the government. I don't know why. Everybody said that about extension. And, you know, here we are now. And I got invited to a birthday party. I didn't know I was getting invited. And I'm in a relationship. I'm not even gonna lie. And all this is a long time ago. It all circles back to the same thing. Because I'm still in the same relationship. So when I went to that party, like I don't know how I got there or who dragged me, and I have my suspicions. I'll tell you why in the end. And so what happened was that obviously I was really out of it, and I was remembering, you know, where I was at by the time I came out of that. But meantime, when I kind of, my perception failed me, the guy whose birthday it was, this was, like I said, I remember this part clearly. This was a long time ago, but I remember this so clearly. He was like, look around, nobody's here. And he was on FaceTime with his auntie. In Texas. And I know Brickle like the back of my hand. So I know I was in Brickle, like I said. And she just so happened to be in my grandfather's birthplace. Let's just call it that, right? And I was like, okay, you want to play me like that, And I can hear like somebody screaming and screaming and screaming and saying stuff, and like, they said my man's name, and I was like, oh, yeah. If I call for help, they can't help me because they're obviously needing somebody to help them with something. And so I'm thinking twice with the FaceTime and trying to get up and trying to, like, I'm still like feeling like crap. And they're outside somewhere in the parking lot, or I don't know what. And I don't really know where I'm at, but I know I'm in Brickell. And I know I'm in a penthouse. And I was like, okay, well, there's only one thing to do. And I was like, well, they're in my territory. So let me, shout here, because he's FaceTiming. How dirty. But for real, like, these inbreds, these ancestrals, these one branch people of one branch family. I was yelling like, oh, well, like, I need this done right now, and you're gonna do it. And I'm like, say you won't. Because homegirl, you know what I'm saying, his little baby aunt, that little girl, was in the drive-thru, like I said. And everybody knows my family there. Everybody knows my friends there. Everybody knows our social circles are big time, big time people. They're big timers. That's what you call them. So I was like, you're gonna do this. And he was like, okay. So he went and let my boyfriend up. And I was like, that's who brought me? So I was like, barely even functioning. Somehow I got out of there. And then when I was online, right, like I'm always online, I was and I was listening to some stream or something, and I remember hearing some guy was like, oh, well, because like before it was like, we're gonna go through her and hurt her to get to him, or we'll just bypass her. And then they were like backpedaling, like, oh no, if we want to hurt her, then we can do that anytime. What's the point? We'll just bypass her and go to him. And that's going to be the whole focus of attack. And then another time they were like, well, this whole thing sounds like a crazy story. We need more people on board with what we're doing and be able to continue to focus on that boy. They were like, we need to end this man. We need to make sure this man's dead. And I was like, so I've been really, really practicing safety, like, a lot. And it's changed the way that I plan my day. that I live my life and how I interact online. So, yeah, I'm still dealing with that. And if you guys have any information, please don't hesitate. You can remain anonymous. You can call the cops. There's so many things that you can do. You can call tip lines or FBI tip lines. If you see anything suspicious, say something. If you see something, say something. You will always be doing a service rather than having nothing getting done in the community. And that's why we're here. We're here for community build. 160 of you guys have subscribed already. And thank you so much for helping us build this wonderful community where we are able to accept and receive people as they are and allow them to have their stories have visibility and have people listen to them and actually hear things that go on in our real lives that we want attention for our struggles, our stories, everything about us is worthy. Every one of us is valued here. And I love you guys. Like, y'all have been my rock this whole time. And 160 of you guys. Let's cut the cake. But also, I'm sure there's a lot of people that struggle to come out and talk about things that happen to them, regardless of what they are. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's ego. Sometimes, it's somebody telling you. But, like in my case, the somebody telling me was an op and trying to get their story covered up to begin with that involved me. So, la-di-da. La-di-da. Wouldn't it be the one who said don't go to authorities? So here it is, my 160 milestone cake. Beautiful. And thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. And I'll continue to be here and to strive to grow and to learn more and to do better. But like I said, there's so many things that have happened since that first incident, and that's why I kind of put them together. I mean, it could have nothing to do with it, but it could have all the things to do with it. I don't think that criminals so much care about fame as much as I see a lot more people coming to social media and seeking a cover-up story. And through validation, they gain momentum in what they're trying to accomplish. And it's really sad, but it's, it's a harsh reality of trying to crack down on cybercrime. First bite. So I'm gonna finish my cake off camera, but I want to thank you guys for being here and listening to my story. And shout outs to the people who support me on my TikTok, because it was kind of a harsh beginning of spring and end of winter. But I love you all. Thank you again. And I'll see you on the next one. My Sunday from. Bye-bye.